Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. In today's video, I am painting Noodles from the band Gorillaz in the outfit from the video Saturnz Barz. I'll be talking about my concerns and achievements in the painting process, a mini review on how I feel about gouache, and any improvements I would make on this art piece. As always, all materials I use are listed in the description, and if you would like to see more of my art, my socials are also linked below. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Okay, so I've had this painting sitting on my computer for a long time. I began this painting all the way back in August of this year, and then I finished it by September. But for the months of October, that's my birthday month, and then November, holidays, I just didn't really have enough time to really think about making another YouTube video, which is why it took me forever to figure out what I would be talking about in this video and to actually put this video together. But now I'm here, and now I'm thinking about what I felt like when I was making this piece, and I also have a new perspective of what I probably should have done, or how I think the piece looks better than I actually did. Because when I first made it, I thought the piece looked almost terrible, and I didn't want to post a video of it. But now I'm like, it looks kind of nice, and it's fun to show off the process of it. Okay, so I want to start with my concerns about how I felt when I was making this piece. And the first one that I had was, it took me forever to even start making this piece, because I had this idea in my head for a long time, ever since the Saturnz Barz video came out, which I think was a couple of years ago, maybe. I don't want to say it was too long ago, but the reason why I didn't want to start off with this was because I was afraid that this piece looked like so many other people's images of Noodle. Especially when I looked on Google, it seemed like everyone was doing the same thing, and I didn't want to be just another redundant artist who copies everyone else. And also because there's another artist on YouTube who I really like. Their name is Kiwi Bird, and they also did this fantastic piece of Noodle, which kind of had almost the same idea. But I did make sure to watch their video to make sure that I wasn't copying them 100%, and I was actually making original ideas. But that was my number one top concern when I was making this piece. And also another concern I had was I was afraid of making it look like a racist caricature because Noodle is Asian. I do not have enough experience with drawing people of different races and different skin tones, but I'm pretty sure I was using my brain, and I made sure that I stayed away from making it look like the skin was too yellow or doing things that would have been considered racist. But I don't think the bright background that I used at the end of this video is a bright pink. It makes the yellow pop out in her skin too much, because when I do mix skin, when I'm using gouache, I use blue, red, and yellow, and I think the pink offsetted that yellow too much, so it popped out to be very bright, and it looks a little bad. But in retrospect, I'm looking at it right now, it doesn't look too bad, and it just looks like a normal skin tone. But yeah, that was one of my concerns I had while making this, but I think I used my thinking brain and made it look like a normal piece. My achievements and things that I'm kind of proud of with this piece is that, one, I was able to find my style in gouache. I didn't feel usually when I'm painting, I usually feel I'm tied to making everything 100% realism or 100% semi-realism, which usually with that is making the face looking as realistic as possible. But with gouache, I don't feel that pressure of trying to make everything look realistic, and I actually found my more cartoony style getting a mix of the realistic style that I was taught how to do a long time ago. And I found that balance, especially you will see later when I start working on the fluffy coat that Noodle is wearing. It's just the right balance of putting enough tones in there to make it look like it's a fluffy coat, but also it's cartoony enough to look like it's from a cartoon and look like it's a cartoonish kind of coat, which is something that I'm really proud of when it comes to gouache painting and painting in general. Another thing that I am proud of when it came to making this piece is thinking about my color choices critically. Now, like, the thing that I didn't do, which what I usually do, is kind of do a little bit of a color composition. But I didn't do that because, one, I'm learning gouache, and I knew if I did that, I probably wouldn't have been thinking too critically about the colors. But also, as you'll see, I did start over with the glasses and the eyes, because at first I wasn't thinking about how would the glasses tint over the shade of her skin. So I had to go back after like I finalized what I kind of want the skin to look like. I went back, sat through it, and thought critically about how the glasses would overlay her skin, and how like the colors would change, and like adding different colors to make like reflections and refractions and all that. And I'm really proud of myself, because that's usually something that I wouldn't reserve for traditional media. It would always be like in digital media where like you're able to like do a cop out, which is basically doing like an overlay over the skin. But because I like sat there, took the time to think about going back and starting over with the glasses, I was able to think about how colors like the blue black of her hair and the black of her eye and skin would change because she has like these blue and pink glasses. So that's like one of the things that like that I'm really proud of, which would like make this piece is like one of my favorite pieces of 2020 so far. I still have a couple more pieces due for this year ends, but it's actually a really nice looking piece, and I'm really proud of it. Speaking of me using gouache to make my style and my stylistic choices better, here's like a mini review that I have on Himi Miya Gouache. I plan on doing a full review maybe sometimes next year when I have like at least maybe 10 gouache pieces and I'm able to understand how to use the medium. But so far I really love the Himi Miya Gouache. I think it's a pretty good gift to give to anyone who wants to start using gouache or wants to learn how to use the medium. I am upset that I wasn't able to keep the gimmick going, because these gouache advertise themselves as jelly gouache, and the first night when I was doing like a test sheet of all the colors, I left them out to dry. I was able to reactivate them then, but then I did the second night when I was painting another piece that you guys won't see, another piece that I did with the gouache. I left them out and they dried out, and I wasn't able to get them back to that jelly consistency that I liked and what was used as a gimmick. But otherwise, these gouaches are able to re-wet very well, and you're able to use them as gouache once you re-wet them, which is why I carry a little spray bottle, or I use those watercolor brushes that they used to have. I don't know how to explain them. They're better to look and not explain, but I carry those with me as long as I'm using these gouache, and they're pretty easy to reactivate. So far as a mini review, I love these gouache, and if I ever get a hold of more like professional gouache, I'll let you know how my opinions changed then. But so far, until my full review, I really like these gouache, and if you don't have them and you like to try out gouache, I suggest that you get this set. Now I kind of want to talk about things that back then I wanted to change and things that now I want to keep with the piece. The things that I still agree on with myself with past me is that I think I made the background too dark and bright at the same time. Like, I really wanted this hot pink as the background to kind of match with the glasses and also like offset the other colors that are in the piece. But I think I made it like too bright and too dark at the same time, which probably comes with like the learning curve of using gouache, because the lighter the color it is, the darker the color will be, and like the vice versa. Yeah, so that's why I think made the piece look a little bad. But otherwise, like now as I'm looking at it, it's starting to grow on to me, and I kind of like the bright dark background. Another thing that I would change would be going too heavy on like my white highlights. Like at the end of the piece, I go around with it because I don't like using black in any of my like traditional or digital art pieces unless it's necessary. I go with a very dark blue to outline this drawing, but I also outline it with white paint. and I kind of wish that I didn't go too heavy and I didn't rely on it so hard to make those outlines, because it kind of looks a little bad. In some places I did a good job, but like outlining the whole entire character with it probably wasn't the best call. Back to talking about the background for another thing I would change. I don't think I should have done it as bright as I should have, or if I did want to go that bright, I think I should have went with the background first, because usually when I do like watercolor or now gouache, I like to do my background with a color that'll be used the most or with the background color. So for this one I chose blue when I first started, but really I probably should have chose pink. So when I made sure and I went back to do the skin, it wasn't so harsh or wasn't too bright, nor did it add too many yellow. So if I were to redo this piece, I would have went back and made the background maybe either less pink, or I would have done the background first. And the last thing I would do for improvements, when I first had the idea of making this piece, I actually wanted her skin to have some blue and some pink reflecting off of it, you know, to go with like the glasses theme. But I think I got too scared to do it at the end. Like you will see, I tried to do it with her nose. It made the nose look good and I did it, but I was too scared to go on with the rest of the body to make it look like that. So I think if I were to improve or redo this piece, I would start when I was doing the skin. After doing the background, I would lay down those pinks and blues like as a guideline and as like a sketch, so I'll remember like, hey, do this and be like bright and bold. And that's like the good thing with these gouache that I'm using, that is I could have done it and I could have been bright and bold by adding the pinks and blues on her skin to make it pop, but I was just too scared and I didn't want to ruin the piece after working on it for, as you can see, for a whole month. So next time I won't be as shy about it and I'll try it, because with gouache it's easy to. And that's pretty much everything I have to say about this piece. Right now, while watching me like paint this as I'm going with the voiceover, I can see how pretty the piece actually is. Like before, when I just looked at it when I was done with it, I hated this piece entirely and I wanted to start over, but I didn't want to commit to doing a whole nother month's worth of work. But it's so pretty, and if I did have a print shot up, I would love to sell this as like prints on my shop. But because I don't have that set up on my website yet, I won't sell it yet. But in the future, if I do start making prints, this will probably be like one of the first few that I would try to sell. I'm also happy to say that I believe gouache is my medium of 2020. I have so much fun with experimenting with colors and being bright and bold with it. It's just overall fun, and hopefully I will get to talk about it in another piece before 2020 ends. But anyway, that's really all I have to say about making this noodle painting. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about this. Thank you for watching my video all the way to the end. If you'd like to see more of my work, as I said before, all of my socials are linked in the description. And yeah, if you have any suggestions what I should have done with like the skin or with colors, please leave them in the comments below. And without ado, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video, hopefully before 2020 ends. Have a lovely day, and I'll let the music play you out.